I ain't gonna lie. I've been holding a lot of shit in lately. Man, I just had like a 3.5 hour cry.
What do I owe the pleasure? What do I owe the pleasure? Last time we speaking together, we wash your car for you. We wash your car with no shame in our hustle. When you got them getting it to that wash, and you know that tip gonna be good like this goddamn West Coast. Y'all better start buying this slippery soap, man.
We've been following this Rick Ross and 50 Cent feud, right?
Yeah, it's been bubbling for ages.
Exactly. The usual online stuff, some diss tracks. But this latest move, nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming from 50.
It's a serious escalation, isn't it? Like, this feels different. It's gone way past just trading insults online.
Totally different. We're talking about 50 allegedly dropping tapes supposedly featuring Rick Ross.
Which is, well, it's like deploying the nuclear option in a rap beef. It just changes the whole game.
Completely changes it. 1 minute, it's simmering the next. Boom! These tapes appear. No warning, nothing. And the whole industry just goes on red alert.
And honestly, Ross's reaction tells you everything you need to know about how serious this might be. It wasn't subtle.
Oh, not subtle at all. We're talking a meltdown for the ages, which, makes you think those tapes must have hit a nerve, a big one.
Precisely. The speed and the sheer intensity of his response, plus how quickly the industry seemed to react, it all points to something potentially really damaging on those recordings.
So yeah, this isn't just another diss track moment. This feels bigger.
Much bigger. So today we're going to dive into what these alleged tapes are all about, the details that are leaking out, Ross's very dramatic reaction, and what this means for everyone else involved. Definitely need to stick around for this.
You really do. Okay, let's get into it. The tapes themselves. What are they supposedly revealing? Because the word is, it paints a picture of Ross that really clashes with his whole public image.
Right. The core seems to be about alleged dealings with Diddy. And given everything swirling around Diddy right now, well, any kind of link, especially one described as shady dealings, that's going to raise massive red flags.
Huge red flags. It forces you to kind of look back at everything differently, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it gets reportedly even more explosive than just that association.
Yeah. What else?
There's audio, supposedly, of Ross bragging about, like, doing these under-the-table deals, specifically with up-and-coming artists. You know, the ones just trying to get their start.
Oof. Okay, if that's true. That's not just bad PR. That's hitting artists where it hurts.
It would be. And look, we always have to be careful. Verification is key here. But Ross's reaction, it kind of lends weight to the idea that there's something there he's worried about. Why react so strongly otherwise?
You can't argue with that logic. I mean, reports of a 3.5 hour crying session, allegedly caught on camera. You literally couldn't make this stuff up.
It's almost unbelievable. And then after that alleged breakdown, he just explodes on Instagram, just unleashes.
Tell me about that. What was he actually saying online? Because it sounds like it went way beyond just defending himself.
Oh, way beyond. We're talking direct threats, apparently.
Sure.
And then reportedly doxing people, putting out addresses linked to 50 Cent, even his family members.
Whoa, okay, that's crossing a serious line. That's not just beef anymore. That's something else. Shows real desperation, maybe.
Or just extreme emotional distress.
Yeah.
But yeah, a major, major escalation. You can only imagine the panic behind the scenes.
Oh, for sure. His PR team must have been scrambling, like full-on crisis mode. And the story is he started using burner accounts, fake profiles, to try and, like, fight back online.
Trying to control the narrative from the shadows, basically.
Yeah, and launching copyright strikes. Trying to get the tapes taken down, which, good luck with that once something's out there online.
It's like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube, isn't it? Especially now. Damage control 101, maybe, but often pretty futile. It really just highlights how anxious they must be about this content spreading.
No kidding. Okay, so Ross is melting down, his team's panicking. What about the rest of the industry? Because the reaction there seemed pretty immediate and pretty widespread.
It was like dominoes falling, reports of, like, emergency meetings happening, PR people working overtime everywhere, and you just saw this distancing. People subtly, or not so subtly, stepping away from Ross, even from Diddy by association.
What does that tell you? That kind of collective pullback.
It shows how risk-averse the industry is, really. Reputation is everything. Image is currency. So the second there's a whiff of serious scandal, especially something potentially this messy, Everyone runs for cover to protect their own brand. Self-preservation kicks in hard.
And you saw it play out right on social media, didn't you? Like Meek Mill liking 50 Cent's posts. Considering their history, that's loud.
That's a statement without saying a word. Then you had other artists, quietly hitting the unfollow button on Ross, collaborations that were probably in the works just vanished.
In the silence. What about DJ Khaled? Usually Ross's biggest hype man, right? Radio silence.
Deafening silence. When your closest allies go quiet, that speaks volumes. It suggests that whatever is on those tapes or whatever they think might be coming is serious enough to make them pause those long-standing relationships.
It really implies they're worried about the fallout, doesn't it?
Deeply worried. Then you had French Montana posting about karma, which felt pretty pointed.
Yeah, not subtle.
And Future sharing 50 Cent's track, Many Men. Come on. The message is clear.
And even Drake. He's usually so careful, but he drops some line about loyalty that everyone immediately tied to this whole situation.
Right, these little online breadcrumbs, the likes, the unfollows, the cryptic posts, they're like signals, telling you the mood of the industry behind the scenes. They reveal the shifting tides without needing a press release.
It paints a really vivid picture, actually, an industry basically holding its breath. Okay, let's shift gears slightly, because there's another layer to this whole mess. These rumors about recordings from Diddy's parties.
Yes. This takes it into potentially a whole different stratosphere of trouble. Legal trouble, ethical trouble, everything.
What's the story there? The scale sounds insane.
Well, the alleged number floating around is staggering. Something like 250 recording devices found at Diddy's properties.
250?
Wait, seriously?
That many?
That's the report. Now imagine being someone who went to parties there. The idea that you might have been recorded unknowingly on that kind of scale. It's terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. Just think about it. You're at a party, feeling relaxed, private conversations, whatever, and maybe it's all on tape. The anxiety must be through the roof for anyone who is ever there.
And the legal questions are immediate. Consent is huge.
Yeah.
You can't just record people secretly like that, generally speaking. Privacy laws come into play massively.
Ethically, it's just wrong. There's a power dynamic too, isn't there? Between the host and the guests.
Exactly. It raises really serious questions about invasion of privacy, potential misuse of recordings. It's deeply problematic.
And then the rumors get even wilder that some of these tapes might be getting shopped around, possibly involving really famous A-listers.
Yeah, the idea of these tapes being auctioned off, if that's true and if they feature big names, you're looking at a potential avalanche of lawsuits, destroyed reputations, maybe even criminal investigations, depending on what's on them.
It's just a complete minefield, legally and ethically. You can't profit off recordings people didn't consent to. It really makes you think about privacy now.
It really does. It underscores how hard it is to maintain any privacy when recording tech is everywhere, and you don't know who might be capturing what, even in places you think are private.
Okay, wow. Now let's pivot again to something almost bizarre. The baby oil. Reports of 1,000 bottles seized from Diddy's place.
Right. 1,000 bottles,
Yeah.
Not a normal amount of baby oil.
Not even close. Your first thought has to be, why so much? It's not like you're buying that at Costco for personal use.
Exactly. The volume itself is suspicious. And then you hear that Costco apparently doesn't even sell baby oil in those kinds of bulk quantities. Yeah. So where did it come from? And more importantly, what was it for?
That's the million-dollar question. Because it definitely screams something beyond just, moisturizing.
It really does. And inevitably, theories start flying. The main one circulating is, well, that maybe it wasn't just baby oil.
Yeah, I heard this. The GHB theory. Gamma hydroxybutyrate.
Precisely. GHB is a substance, a depressant, known for causing euphoria, drowsiness, and crucially, memory impairment. It's unfortunately got a history of misuse, sometimes called a date rape drug.
So if, and it's a big if that theory is right, and those bottles contain GHB, that changes everything.
Completely. It shifts this whole narrative from celebrity drama and business dealings into something potentially much, much darker. We'd be talking about potential criminal activity with really serious implications for safety and well-being.
And the sheer quantity.
Yeah.
1,000 bottles. It suggests it wasn't just a one-off thing, potentially.
That's the implication, yes. It raises serious questions about the environment there, what activities were common practice. It points towards something potentially systemic.
Okay, so taking all of this in the tapes, Ross's reaction, the industry fallout, the Diddy party rumors, the baby oil. Stepping back, what are the potential long-term consequences here? For Ross specifically.
For Rick Ross. I mean, honestly, it could be career-ending, or at least career-altering in a massive way. These allegations, if proven true or even just widely believed, they cut right to the core of his brand, his image.
The biggest boss image, yeah.
Exactly. It alleges shady dealings, potentially exploiting artists. It contradicts the persona he's built for years. And we're already seeing the industry support just peel away. Rebuilding trust after something like this, it's incredibly difficult.
It feels like watching an empire potentially crumble, doesn't it? All that work building a reputation just threatened like this.
And beyond Ross, for the wider industry, this is a huge wake-up call. A reminder that in this digital age, nothing is truly buried forever. Past actions, past associations,
Yeah.
they can resurface.
Yeah, the internet never forgets, right?
Pretty much. And when recordings, texts, anything digital exists, it can come out. The idea that you can completely control your past narrative, it's becoming an illusion.
It must make a lot of people nervous. Like everyone's suddenly checking their old messages, wondering what might be out there.
You have to imagine so. It forces a conversation about accountability, about the ethics of recording people, sharing private stuff, and just how fragile a reputation can be when information moves this fast.
So we've got the alleged tapes out there, Ross's huge reaction, the industry running scared. What happens now? Is this the end of the road for the Ross 50 beef, like a final knockout blow?
It's hard to say end with these two. Their animosity runs deep. This might be a critical hit, but maybe not the final one. 50 Cent is relentless.
True. And with all these other potential recordings possibly floating around from Diddy's situation, who knows what else could drop? What other secrets are waiting to come out?
Exactly. That's the big unknown. Once Pandora's box is open like this, more revelations could follow, impacting way more people than just Ross and 50. It really leaves you thinking, doesn't it? About the long game here and just how much we value privacy versus transparency in this very documented world we live in now.